homebuyer assistance programs, girl, bye. That's just for first-time home buyers. Plus, it's difficult to qualify for them. There's no funding for that. Nobody got no money for that. It's not even forgiving. Really, I want a nice home, and I think this DPA is only going to work for a small little thing I can get in the hood, a trap house, basically.
All I got to say is
good evening, everyone, and welcome once again to another episode of Wine Wednesday. Now, I'm sure you guys heard that voice that is apparently floating around in the atmosphere, basically telling you all these different lies that are about down payment assistance programs. And it can be a little scary for some home buyers out there, especially with this crazy market that we're in all across the nation right now. But never fear, because tonight I'm going to be debunking a lot of those myths. By a lot of them, I mean at least 10 of them. So tonight we're going to be talking about my 10 down payment assistance myths debunked. It's been a frenzy out there with home buyers, and what's one of the most important things that home buyers tend to worry about is whether they're going to be able to come up with the actual money for a down payment. A lot of information out there, and a lot of it begins with you as a home buyer or potential home buyer doing your own homework and research. But without further ado, let's go ahead and get started with my myths. Myth number 1, down payment assistance programs are only for first-time home buyers. This is a myth that is very, very misleading, and it's a lot of information out there. A lot of people have this misconception that they're only for first-time home buyers. No, down payment assistance programs typically use HUD's definition for first-time home buyers, which is really a person that has owned a home within the last 3 years. So you may have owned a home in the previous years of your life and are now renting because you're wanting to purchase a home again. But the reality is that if you haven't owned a home in the past 3 years, you do technically qualify again as a first-time home buyer. So don't just count yourself out from being able to get this assistance for buying your first home or buying a home in general. In fact, a lot of programs out there actually don't have a home buyer requirement or a first-time home buyer requirement. So again, don't count yourself out. The only requirement that's out there and understanding that you need to know about these down payment assistance programs is that they are just for home buyers. They're not for investors. Investors have a different area that they can actually get some funding in, but the down payment assistance programs are strictly for home buyers. They're for home purchasers. So investors, sorry, but you're not going to be able to qualify for that. Myth 2, it's difficult to qualify for home buyer programs. Actually, the most difficult part is actually finding the perfect down payment assistance program that fits your needs. However, with my program that I do offer clients, I am able to have them do a search so that they can actually find a program and the assistance that's going to work perfect for their situation. So that's something that I do offer to my clients. And if you're looking for that, hit your girl up and we'll go ahead and find that. But really, when it comes down to qualifying for home buyer programs, it really comes down to you as a home buyer or potential home buyer doing your research to interview lenders, interview companies that are going to be offering these down payment assistance programs so that you can see what the qualifications are. The basic qualifications a lot of times for these programs are property location, property size, income, different things like that. I'll go over those things in another video about what's required with different down payment assistance programs, but definitely make sure that as a buyer, you're doing your own homework and doing your research, and you can work with your agent to see if you can find different programs that fit your situation and have the program tailored to what it is that you need to purchase your home. Myth 3, assistance programs are no longer funded. On the contrary, this actually is not true. So 87% of down payment assistance programs out there have millions and millions of dollars that can help home buyers. Buyers, you are very important, especially during the time that we're going through right now. It's a seller's market. Inventory is low, but buyers, you do have a very, very huge value in the market for sellers and everything. So it would be foolish for this country to not have the funds that are going to be needed to assist buyers so that they can do the down payment and be able to get into the home of their dreams. The top 3 most common types of down payment assistance programs that are out there right now are like down payment and closing cost assistance, you have affordable first mortgages, and then also mortgage credit certificates. So a lot of times these millions of dollars in down payment assistance, they don't come just as a check. I mean, you can get them as like grants, tax credits. There are a lot of different benefits out there. So don't feel that there isn't funding out there for these down payment assistance programs, because there definitely are. Myth 4, down payment assistance programs make home financing more difficult. Okay, so here's the deal. Purchasing a home is probably going to be 9 times out of 10 the hugest investment and purchase that you're ever going to make in your life. That's the reality of it. So you want to make sure that you're making the smart financial decisions in the very beginning, right? You want to make sure that you have that. So, to say that it's difficult to get financing, the hardest part really is just doing the paperwork. The reality is, again, that this is going to be a huge investment, probably the biggest investment that you will have of your life. So it's going to take paperwork. That's what's going to happen. But the good thing is that when you're filling out the paperwork for some of these down payment assistance programs, it's no different than filling out the paperwork that you need to purchase a home loan. So you're already doing that. So why not go ahead and just knock out the paperwork that is considered the most difficult part of getting home buyer assistance? Why not? Myth number 5, down payment assistance is only available for low-cost homes. When it comes to down payment assistance programs, those can be for any range of home, from the cheapest of the cheap home to the highest and most luxurious homes there are out there. Some of the things that people that run these down payment assistance programs look at are things like income limit. That's typically your biggest thing that's going to be your limit, is income. So whether you're buying a modern house that's in the 200,000s, or you're getting a multi-million-dollar house, most times the income limits is what's going to make or break how much assistance you can get. So no, it's not for very low cost homes. You're not going to just only get down payment assistance on a small hut that's off the beach or something. You're going to be able to find programs that range from the cheapest of the cheap homes all the way to the celebrity multi-million-dollar homes. Income factor is going to play a role in it, but don't limit yourself just based on targeted types of neighborhoods and types of homes. Don't do it. Again, do your research and find out what qualifications and guidelines are needed for you to qualify for these down payment assistance programs. Myth number 6, down payment assistance is only compatible with FHA loans. Now, the truth of the matter is that most times you will have down payment assistance programs that are associated with FHA loans, but that doesn't mean that other loan types can't qualify for these programs as well. There are programs that offer down payment assistance that can be used for conventional loans, VA loans, obviously FHA loans, and other loans that are out there as well. So don't feel that just because you don't have an FHA loan that you won't be able to get any down payment assistance, because you definitely will be able to. Having down payment assistance is not something that is only tailored to just certain types of financing. You can certainly do it with conventional loans, VA loans, USDA loans, but definitely FHA loans. But don't think that you only have to do it just because of an FHA loan, because you really don't. Myth number 7, down payment assistance dollars are never forgiven. So every market in this country is different, but every market also does have programs that are for down payment assistance, that offer down payment assistance. Not all of them are ones that you have to actually pay back. You can get some as grants, and there are some programs that actually will defer payments or defer interest, and you don't even have to pay those types of payment. You don't have to pay those types of programs back, which is always a good thing, and that gives you as a home buyer some serious buying power. So that's actually a really good thing. So any programs that, again, you're considering, make sure you do some thorough research so that you know if it is a program, in fact, that you would have to pay back. Is it one where you can get your payments deferred? Is the interest zero? Are they forgiven? Are they not forgiven? Those are things that you do want to take into consideration in asking when you're looking for your down payment assistance programs. Myth 8, down payment assistance programs guarantee longer closing times. Okay, so the reality is that no one likes a long close. No one wants to have a difficult time getting to the closing table, and God forbid you have something that comes up at the closing table that just makes things go into an entire storm and frenzy of full-blown mess. Nobody wants that. But remember that the timeline of a close is going to start when the application for that down payment assistance program is submitted. Not approved, not the idea sparked in your head. When it's actually submitted. Down payment assistance programs can take a little bit of time to underwrite and approve and review and all that kind of stuff, but it doesn't necessarily mean that the closing is going to take longer. There are other things that can cause a close to take so much longer, but a down payment assistance program typically is not one of them. Myth number 9, sellers won't accept offers with layered financing. So in this particular type of market that we're in, obviously sellers can pick and choose from a buffet of buyers, even in some offers. And if you're worried about whether or not they're going to just balk at your offer because you have layered financing, that's okay to feel that way, because at the end of the day, a seller is able to pick whoever it is they want. They want to have the highest and best offer. Sometimes they might even think that cash is going to be better, but sometimes cash isn't always going to win or beat out someone else. Yes, it might be a quicker close sometimes, but at the same time, cash isn't always going to be your best bet when it comes to a seller. So as buyers, do not feel intimidated if you're competing against someone that has cash, because the reality is that when you have a down payment assistance program, sometimes those funds can go towards closing costs or other costs at the closing table that might be more inclined for a seller to have to pay. Because sometimes with people that are offering cash, they're going to sometimes have a lower offer as far as the purchase price, but that might not be something that the seller actually wants. So again, don't count yourself out just because you may be competing with layered finance, or you have layered financing and you're competing against other people that don't have layered financing or have cash, and you can still find your home that you really want. Myth 10, a bigger down payment is always better. When you have down payment assistance programs, typically when you get that, it's about maybe 6% of the actual down payment. So it's not really a huge amount that's going to be put down, but it still does help. So with this particular myth, that is true to an extent, that if you put down a bigger down payment, that you may not have to, you'll actually be able to avoid a little thing called private mortgage insurance, aka PMI. Most people don't want to pay that private mortgage insurance because it means that you're just going to have to pay some extra money on top of you putting down a lower finance option. Typically, rents go up every single year that you're renting, but with apartments, for sure, those go up every single year. So that can make it a little bit more difficult for you as a potential home buyer to come up with the money and save for a down payment, because as that rent is going up higher, you're still having to pay bills, you're still having to pay that rent, and it can become more difficult for you to be able to come up with a down payment and save that money for yourself. So with a down payment assistance program, yeah, you might have to pay that private mortgage insurance, but it will definitely help you to not have to prolong and lengthen the time that you're not going to be able to get a house. Don't do that to yourself. Just go ahead and do it, especially if you're really motivated to become a home buyer in this particular market. Well, that is all that I have for you all today. Those are my top 10 myths about the down payment assistance programs debunked. So hopefully that helped you guys kind of whittle through some of the information or false information that you may have been seeing about down payment assistance programs. When you do your research on lenders and down payment assistance programs, you'll be able to find the one that is perfect for you. See what it is that you can find. And if you have any questions, you can certainly reach out to me via text, via phone call, via email. But make sure that you do take advantage of the millions of dollars out there that are available to help you as a home buyer. Do not go into this alone and think that you're not going to be able to afford a home because you're so busy trying to save for a down payment. Do your research. Let's find the right program for you so that you can get the home of your dreams. That being said, I want to thank you guys once again for joining me for another episode of Wine Wednesday here with Ashley Rogers, your favorite Michigan realtor. Sorry. I'm an actual realty now. But I want to thank you guys again joining me with Homes by Ashley on this episode of Wine Wednesdays, and I will see you all on the flip side.
Day and night, all I got to say is